and this is a continuation to where we left off. George goes back for the dang dog. Like, I mean, at the same time, you feel for him. It is a dog. It is practically a family member. But you were out in the clear, bro. And you go back for the dang dog. Poor Harry. But again, give props to where it's due. You have a good master here in the sense that you're not gonna let him just go down with the house that he was willing to sacrifice himself. Look at this. He goes back to a puddle of blood, I think it is, for the dog. For the dang dog. That is one lucky ass dog. Is able to pull him out. And they were able to escape by the skin of their teeth to get the dang dog. It's too much. George and Kathleen Lutz and their family never reclaimed their house. They left, and again, I totally understand. I would have split, especially after that whole thing with the Padre. No. But yes, if you haven't seen the Amityville Horror, the 1979 version, it is available on HBO Max. Let's move on to the next scary movie. The devil inside.
Of spades. Two spades. Jack of diamonds. Jack of clubs.
Why have you disturbed our sleep? Awakened us from our ancient slumber. You will die! Nightmare before you. One by one we will take you.
Now that audio sounds anything familiar. That is the famous cult classic, The Evil Dead. I can't even stress to you how I came across this, but we'll get into that in a minute. The Evil Dead is a 1981 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Sam Raimi, produced by Robert Tappert, and executive produced by Rami Tappert and Bruce Campbell. I came across Bruce Campbell in Xena, the Warrior Princess, but by that time he was already known because of these films, and I didn't make the connection until much later. Who also starred alongside Ellen Sandweiss. After they find... Okay, the film focuses on 5 college students vacationing in an isolated cabin in a remote wooded area. After they find an audio tape that, when played, releases a legion of demons and spirits, 4 members of the group suffer from demonic possession, forcing the 5th member, Ash Williams Campbell, to survive an onslaught of increasingly gory mayhem. I will say about this film, it traumatized me for decades. It's a cult classic for Halloween, perfect for Halloween. I remember I was very young. I think I was maybe like 6 or 7. And Halloween, and we already had Halloween movies, but not quite like this. So I remember that my aunt wants to rent a bunch of horror movies with her VHS at the time, and we come across this crazy goriness. I'm gonna let you know that was traumatizing, because now in retrospect, when I see it, you can see it for the lackluster and CGI. It's very homemade-y, but it's still nonetheless still traumatizing. And the amount of gore that is in this movie. Again, if you're big on gore, this is the movie for you. But it traumatized me. And although there now I see the instances where you can see the doll, but you don't see that when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you're traumatized. You're like, what the hell? What? Is somebody trying to kill me? What? Through the TV? It was really pretty sick and gnarly. And yeah, I don't advise that. And again, my aunt has passed since then, and again, I hope she's burning in hell for traumatizing me. God forgive me. But you don't do that to children. You just don't do that to children and then mock them for being scared. So, again, but it goes to show, hey, look, I've learned to appreciate it now as an adult, and I see it for the horror movie and artistic approach to horror movie that it was at the time. So, and now, I mean, again, we didn't have these like hokey movies, we wouldn't have the CGI we have today. But it was traumatizing. Look at this scene. And this is perfect. As a matter of fact, as I reminisce on this movie, there used to be this particular bar in Brooklyn. I forget what section. I think it's definitely the first stop on the L train. I forget the stop right now because it's been a while. We've been in pandemic. Um, I remember that this bar, it had been a video rental place, DVD rental place, and then they turned it into a bar. And I remember when they were having their Halloween specials, Videology. All my Brooklyn nights, if you remember Videology, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Tell me how much you loved it, because Lord knows I loved it. And I was there for closing night as well. They had Vampire, I think? No. Hold on a sec. Correction, they were playing Suspiria that night. And ironically, I was dressed as a devil too, but not to this degree. It was a little more pedestrian. But yes, Suspiria, the 1977 version, because I believe there's a contemporary version. I think 2018. But nonetheless, the original Italian supernatural horror film directed by Dario Argento, who co-wrote the screenplay with Daria Nicolodi, partially based on the Thomas De Quincey's 1845 essay Suspiria. The film stars Jessica Harper as an American ballet student who transferred to a prestigious dance academy in Germany, but realizes after a series of brutal murders that the academy is a front for a supernatural conspiracy. It also features, and I'm not going to name all those actors. The film is the first of the trilogy Argento refers to as the Three Mothers, which also comprises Inferno, 1980, The Mother of Tears, 2007, Suspiria, has received a positive response from critics for its visual and stylistic flair, use of vibrant colors, and its score by Argento and the progressive rock band Goblin. Suspiria is nominated for 2 Saturn Awards. So yeah, I remember that playing that night, and also my first Halloween event at Videology happened to be The Evil Dead. They were playing it simultaneously, I believe, because they had, and this is close quarters. I mean, this would be unheard of right now in the middle of a pandemic, but they had a much more enclosed theater like room inside, further down into the actual store, and then in the front portion was like their little bar, and you had a screening there. You had like a little projector there. So if you couldn't make it inside, and you can order anything you wanted. So it was very much like these modern theaters today, that like the Alamo, but like a smaller version of that. So, and imagine if you're coming in, it's Halloween. This is the kind of the background. and you're having popcorn, and this is what you're. I remember that night so clearly, and it was it was one of those moments that you will always treasure in your memory. So I think it replaces the trauma that I had with this movie as a kid, that I could appreciate it now as an adult. Nonetheless, The Evil Dead is available on video on demand on YouTube, and I believe on Amazon Prime as well. But definitely a cult classic, and definitely one that will keep you shaking in your boots. Look at this small clip.
Cheryl?
Don't trust.
I'm all right now, Ashley. Come on, knock the chain and let me out. I'm all right now. It's your sister, Cheryl.
Can you blame me for being traumatized? Horrible.
Why?
But Campbell was hot then too, I will say that. No. Now we move on to The Exorcist. As a 1973 American supernatural horror movie film directed by William Friedkin, and produced and written for the screen by William Peter Blatty, based on the 1971 novel of the same name by Blatty. The film stars Ellen Burstyn, Max von Sydow, a laundry list of names. Sorry, you can Google this. And follows a demonic. It is the first installment in the Exorcist film series, and follows the demonic possession of 12-year-old Reagan and her mother's attempt to rescue her through an exorcism conducted by 2 Catholic priests. From what I gather, this was shot in different locations, but I think there's an instance where there's a staircase, and it's not the famous staircase like towards the end, but there is a staircase where I think they could have shot in New York. I'm not sure. The rumors go back and forth, but I think it was perhaps shot. Certain scenes were shot in the Bronx by the Fordham University campus, but don't quote me if I'm wrong. And I will say about poor Linda Blair, after portraying this demonic character, people were genuinely scared of her after she filmed it. She did such an extraordinary job. And people also forget that it was split between her and an adult for certain scenes because they were too graphic for a child at the time. But yeah, it was pretty nightmarish to watch this.
Oh, that's interesting. Mom, did you know?
Hold on.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
You'd like that?
Intensely.
But wouldn't that drive you out of Reagan?
It would bring us together.
You and Reagan.
You and us.
She did an incredible job. Again, I start seeing things, I'm out.
Did you do that?
The film still scares me to this day.
Do it again.
In time.
No.
In time.
I don't know who did the
You're
voiceover,
utterly
that I will
dictum,
say.
don't you agree?
That voice was pretty chilling.
You speak Latin.
Ego te absolvo.
Again, let's fast
Quod nomen
forward.
mihi est?